Hey guys, Marshall from Going Gear here in Las Vegas, SHOT Show 2015. Here again with Andrew from Surefire. How's it going, man?
Good to see you again, bud.
He did a really good video for us last year. He's involved with the product design, so he's intimately familiar with a lot of these products. So we're going to go and take a look at a bunch of the new Surefire products. You ready?
Sounds good to me, man.
All right.
All right, so we'll start here right at the R2 Lawman, the VOC. We did see this last year. A couple things have changed. It now uses the same 18650 that's in the P1R. So the VOC is the one with the variable output cap. So basically a potentiometer that you can activate with your thumb. So one-handed use of all the different settings. So from 0 all the way up to 600 lumens.
Is that a cap that's going to be available by itself for other products?
Most likely not. It's going to be just for the R2 VOC. There's some programming that has to go along with the head to utilize this particular tail cap. Now you should notice that also has a button on the back so you can override to the max output of 600 lumens at any time. Even if you're partially, in the middle of the beam, you can go to high output. Also has a bezel switch with 3 modes, a low, a medium, and a high. So you can see you can also charge in place with the charging port there, and it has a fuel gauge, with the red for low battery, the yellow for medium, and then the green for good to go.
Is this meant to replace the R1, or is this going to be a complement to it?
It's a complement to it. So it's a stopgap. It gives you different switching options, and that's the reason for that light. So UDR Dominator, we did see this last year, however it's been launched and it is shipping now. So we kept it up here as it is a brand new product for us, and it is the flagship, so to say. 2400 lumens is quite the accomplishment. Has that selector ring, multiple settings, as well as a strobe function. And then switchology, sometimes people are a little confused, so just to go through it real quick. Farthest switch over here you can see is your max blast, so that'll give you always the 2400 lumen high output. This is momentary for whatever your selector ring is set to, so in this case, the minimum. And then that's constant on for the selector ring, so the low output. Moving on, this is something really cool. So this is the P2x Ib for IntelliBeam technology. Basically what this is there's a sensor in the reflector that you can see there. And that's constantly picking up the amount of light that splashes back into the bezel. So right here, it's at a minimum output. When I go over to the carpet, you can see it ramps up to the high output, or to a higher output. So again, I'll show you the transition. And it works, as I move the light higher, it'll go brighter, and as I move it closer, it'll dial back down. So that's the IntelliBeam technology. There's 254 settings between 5 lumens and the high of 600 lumens. So it'll work its way very smoothly from low to high. If you're reading the map and you hear something, it'll ramp up for you. You can also override it. I can release and press again, and then it's just the high of 600 lumens. So essentially a dual stage light. The first stage is IntelliBeam, the second stage is the 600 lumen high output. So over here we have the Titans. This is a brand new product for us, obviously an extension of a previous line. So this is the Titan A. It uses a nickel metal hydride and inner loop AAA. That's a Surefire branded battery. It has a dual output, so first on 15 lumens, second is 125 lumens. It's a twist bezel, so the first twist again is the low output of 15 lumens. Turn it off and go back to on for 125 lumens. It's an aluminum body. This will be shipping in February and has a retail price of $59.99. Does not come with the charger, but does come with the battery.
But it's a standard loop, so you can use any existing charger that you have.
Absolutely. So over here we have the big brother to that. This is the Titan B, or the Titan Plus. As you can tell, it's a much different finish. It's a brass body with it's bead blasted and a nickel plate finish. So this one, we're able to get 300 lumens on high and 15 lumens on low. So 300 lumens, obviously quite an accomplishment for one AAA. It has a removable pocket clip. So this back cap right here is threaded on. You can remove that, take the pocket clip off, and run the light without it if you don't want it. It also has the option, you can either run the key ring on this nipple here, or you can add this cap right here and put the key ring on this so it can be detached from your key ring. You can use it as a handheld and then put it back on your key ring. So essentially it's a quick detach for your keys. This will be retailing for around the $100 mark, $99.99.
So just to clarify, that's 300 lumens using a nickel metal hydride.
That's right.
AAA nickel metal hydride.
That's correct.
Just making sure.
That's absolutely right. So moving on, we have the newest addition to our wrist light lineup. This is the 2211X. So basically it's a polymer body, and it has a disposable 123 lithium. So previously, as you remember, they were lithium ion rechargeables on board with a micro USB. because we're using a disposable battery in this case and the polymer housing, we're able to keep the cost down a little bit. So this one's going to be around the $220 price mark. Same 10mm faceted reflector that you see in the previous Titans. I should mention that the beam pattern that that's designed for is very wide. It's a very flood-oriented beam pattern for close-in work primarily. It's a great light. It has a 300 lumen high. You can also cycle through the outputs by holding it down, and you can go through all three settings, a high, medium, and a low.
Does it have a memory, or is it always default to high?
Always defaults to high on the first press, and when you hold it, it's always going to have high, medium, then low. So 2211 Luminox, a couple things have changed. We've gone to the faceted reflector. As you can see, it's 300 lumens still. We're able to drop the cost a little bit down. I don't know the exact MSRP off the top of my head. I've got a lot of products to remember. I think it's around the $620 range, roughly. So yeah, drop the cost down a lot on that, which makes it a lot more accessible for the market. So it's a great option for a wrist light. Again, you always have it with you. You know, a lot of people say, why would I use this over a headlamp? Well, you know, you don't leave the house with the headlamp on. It's hands-free illumination that you always have with you, and there's something to be said for that. You know, you get a flat tire, or you need to use, you know, both your hands and in a dark spot under a sink or something. You always have the 2211 with you.
How does it activate these side switches?
Correct. So there's two side switches. Hitting just one of them will give you the high output at 300 lumens, and if you hold them both down, you'll cycle through the three settings. Sorry, I'm blocking it there. I'll show you again. So you'll see the three settings there. So moving on, this is our Mini Scout. You know, that's been out for quite a while. The difference is it's been upgraded output-wise to 300 lumens. So previously it was 200 lumens, and now we're up to 300 lumens with that. Same 22mm head. A lot of light for a little 3-volt Mini Scout. So that's actually getting into a good amount of output, plenty of for an SBR or even some long guns, depending on your application. Over here is a AA Scout light. So this was a request from some Department of State diplomatic security service guys that do a lot of work overseas, and sometimes it's hard to get lithium 123s due to the lithium shipping restrictions. So this is a good solution. They can throw on some alkalines that you can get pretty much everywhere. Due to the AA's, it's not as bright as our normal Scout light. It has a 200 lumen output. So
still, that's a huge request from customers of ours, is a AA weapon light. So, I mean, there's your solution.
Yeah, exactly. So this should be the answer to a lot of people's questions. We've actually heard that from more than just the DSS guys. So it's a little bit long. Obviously, with two AA's, you have that length. But, you know, you can hang it off the end of your rail and, you know, reduce some barrel shadow. So it's a good solution to them. Moving on. This is a PMX. Obviously, the P denotes the Fury family, so it's a P3x essentially. But the cool thing about this, it's M for multi-fuel. So you can put two AA's, or you can put three 123s. The board sense what's in it. So on the AA's, it's 200 lumens, and on the three 123s, it's 1,000, just like the normal P3x. So pretty cool option right there. It's shown in that QRM quick release mount, just for, you know, display purposes. But yeah, again, that's a good option for people that travel a lot. If you don't have a good line on lithium batteries in every country that you might be going to, you can always throw in the AA's and utilize those.
And do you have both outputs on the different battery types?
Yes. So 15 lumen low on both. Again, on the AA's, it's going to be, you know, 15 and 200, and then on the 123s, it'll be 15 and 1,000. Moving on. This is the X300 Ultra. That's been out for quite a while. This is our highest selling weapon light. Only thing different about this one is we finally made it in tan. It doesn't seem like a big deal, but you'd be surprised how many people have been asking for that. And so yeah, we finally did it, and it's doing quite well. People are liking that quite a bit. And this is a super exciting little product for us. So this is the new compact pistol light. This is the XC1. It uses the same faceted 10mm reflector that you saw on the 2211s and the Titans. It's one AAA battery. Activation for this is pushing momentary on both of these switches, and then there's a rocker bar for constant, and the front-loading battery. So the cool thing about this is it's designed to not extend past the dust cover on a Glock 19, and also the width of a Glock 19. So it's intended for a concealed carry light. By no means is this meant to replace an X300. And, you know, we want to make that clear. If you can run an X300, you should. But if you're concealed, you don't have, you know, a duty holster or whatever that can fit a normal light, a full-size light, then you should run this XC1. It's a great compact pistol option.
So another AAA light. It's kind of interesting to see Surefire getting away from lithium and lithium ion. Is this a trend?
We're trying to branch out a little bit, so we're trying to reach new markets, and we've got a lot of requests for it. So we're filling those requests. We're trying to make the customers happy.
All right, so we got some more big boys now?
I should mention also, I don't think I did, that's a 200 lumen output. Moving on to these arc lights. This is the Arc 2. So you saw the Hellfighter 5 again last year, and the Arc 2s were mounted on the vehicle that we had at the front. So has a battery stick here that you can remove. This. Let's take it off. Throw on another battery stick. And it's a 4,500 lumen output. Takes a little while to heat up. Once it does, it is quite bright. Obviously, the application for this is pretty niche. So, you know, search and rescue, maybe guard posts, very, very niche application, but it is extremely bright for how portable it is.
So that's HID?
Yes. Our ARC technology, yes.
Have you guys measured the beam distance yet?
I know we have a beam distance measurement for it because that's an ANSI standard, but I don't know it off the top of my head. I'd have to fill you in on that later.
Pretty long?
It's pretty darn long. All right, so over here we have the Hellfighter 5. Saw this guy last year. Again, primary use is vehicle mounted. So machine guns like 50 cals, Mark 19s. This can be, we make a plethora of different mounts for different machine guns, whether it's a minigun or a 50 cal. You can also dismount it off vehicle power and hand hold it. It has an onboard lithium-ion rechargeable battery. This has the same output as the Arc 2, which is 4,500 lumens. So again, you can see that's the activation of it, and this is the battery. So getting a little bit low on battery, but it's been used all show, so good option for them.
Can I mount it to my AR?
Sure thing. There's a Picatinny. You can put the T-slot to a Picatinny and put it right on your AR.
Perfect.
It's a hog hunting weapon. All right, so yeah, this is that same XC1 mounted on a Glock 19 here with a Unity tactical slide. You can tell it doesn't pass the muzzle, and it's no wider than the dust cover. So pretty great little compact pistol option, totally concealable, IWB, so good option.